Welcome to the Soul Forge, a place of silent mystery, quiet contemplation, and outright mayhem. Join your host, Sean Vanderloo, as he guides you through the adventures of living. Together, we'll talk about life and love, sex and dating, joy and heartache, memories and loss, and so much more. Don't worry, it's not nearly as pretentious as it sounds. Get ready for life, the universe, and everything on the Soul Forge.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 22 of the Soul Forge podcast. I'm Sean. Have I got a treat for you this week? Now I realize that this week's podcast is a little bit later than usual. Normally I release episodes on Monday, and today is Thursday, so a bit of a delay. There's a perfectly reasonable explanation for that. This past weekend, my tenant moved out of my house, and been busy cleaning and getting things organized and fixed up and all that kind of stuff that goes along with, well, she had a cat, and there was lots of hair everywhere, and wanted to get the house nice and clean. So been really busy doing that, so kind of tired. And this week's episode is going to have a bunch of clips from different people. So it took me a while to gather them all up, and so the podcast is delayed just a slight bit. I think, though, that from now on I'm going to see about releasing episodes on Thursday anyway. You see, my other podcast, The Rusted Robot, comes out on Sundays, and this one was coming out on Mondays, but Mondays are really busy at work, and it's tiring, and so to give you the best quality product that I can, we'll go with a Thursday, because the week goes along and less tired as the week progresses, because the mail slackens a bit, and so it's not so bad. So that's a bit of a preamble for you guys. But what are we going to talk about this week? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to talk about simple pleasures. I mentioned this week's topic to a bunch of different people, and they all got their sly, wicked grins. Oh, yeah. And I said, no, it's not that kind of simple pleasure. That's too obvious. So, what brought this on? Well, so winter has hit our area, and nobody really enjoys it, but it's important to get the most amount of pleasure that you can out of your life. The snow really hit today, but earlier in the week it was just really cold. No snow on the ground yet, and that's how I came up with the topic of simple pleasures. Because, as I explained to the people that you're going to be hearing from when trying to describe what this episode was about, you know when you see a puddle on the ground but it's frozen over and there's that thin layer of ice, kind of looks like glass? That's my favorite. I go out of my way to step on it because it sounds like breaking glass, and it's a lot of fun. Sometimes there's water under it and sometimes there's not, but it just makes me happy, and I don't know why. It just makes me feel like a kid. So that is a simple pleasure. Just something silly. It's not big. It's not a big deal. It's not something you even think about again. But I must have broken, 15, 20 different ice glasses. I don't even know what to call it. Glass ice, ice glass, puddle ice, whatever. Whatever you want to call that kind of thin layer of ice on a puddle. I went out of my way to break it, and it sounded like glass, and it made me happy inside, and it made me smile. So that, my friends, is what I describe as a simple pleasure. The reason this topic is important is because we don't take time often enough to just stop and smell the flowers, to use a cliche. We're busy, we're constantly checking our social media, we're in meetings, we're working, we're putting the kids to bed and bathing them and helping them with their homework, and busy. We don't have time for anything simple. That's why I'm thinking simple pleasures is a fun topic for this week. Now, when I brought this up and I told people about my ice glass example, they were like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, they all went along with it because they all do it. So that made me happy. And so as I described this to my coworkers and some of the people that I deliver the mail to on my route and asked them to record clips, it was very difficult to get people to record clips. I've got about 10 here maybe, but I asked probably 30 people, and many people are embarrassed to be recorded. It's not a video podcast, nothing like that, but they just don't want to be on the air for whatever reason. So I did manage to get a few people, and the first one I got was my coworker Kathy. Let's see what she had to say.
I'm Kathy. My simple pleasures. I love sceneries. I love when you see a sunrise or a sunset or even like icicles on branches. And I just like close my eyes and I try to like remember it really, really, really hard so I won't forget how it looks. That's like one of my favorites. I like Sunday mornings. Sunday mornings when you're sitting in the living room with the family and everybody's dirty and, but everybody's happy to be together. It's loud, it's crazy, but it's awesome. I like being bare feet. I like feeling the sand, I like the mud, I even like the rocks when you step on them. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, those are some of my simple pleasures.
Nature and family. That is a great example of simple pleasures. And now in a lot of these clips, you're going to hear background sounds, music, that kind of thing, because we were at work at the post office, and it's very noisy in the plant. Other places where I was people's place of business, their offices, and so on. So get rid of the background sounds as much as I can, but that's what you're going to hear. So who else did I talk to? Well, also at work, I talked to my friend Denise.
This is Denise, and I love cracking open a Guinness on a Friday night and sharing it with a friend. That's what makes me smile.
I can definitely get behind opening up a cold one, having a nice glass of something to relax after a long, hard week. I can definitely stand behind that. Here's another coworker.
Hi, my name is Maggie Poulin, and I like coming home to a crock pot in the house because it means I don't have to cook supper.
Yeah, Maggie, I can definitely get behind you on that. The smell of a crock pot cooking, somebody else made supper. Oh, yeah, for sure. When I don't have to cook and it's already made for me, especially after a long day at work, especially in the winter now, where you're walking and you're trudging through the snow and you're just exhausted. Somebody's made some food for you. That is wonderful. That's just a simple pleasure. You can make food for somebody, or somebody can make food for you. That is just a very nice thing. And speaking of cold days, Erin had a good idea as well.
Hi, my name is Erin, and my favorite thing that makes me feel so great on the inside is listening to the crackling sound of a fireplace, or the wood stove makes me feel warm on the inside.
So, yeah, definitely. A nice warm crackling fire after a long day, or just on a weekend when you're trying to relax. Simple pleasures. That's what it's all about. These are the things that make life worth living. They're just things that you don't really think about. And when I was bringing up the example to different people, surprisingly, they're like, you know what? That's right. We don't stop. We don't slow down. We don't stop and think about the simple things in life. So I got a lot of interest for the podcast. Lots of different people are like, oh, I can't wait to hear this episode. Make sure you share the link everywhere. So that's definitely what I'm going to do. So the last person that you'll hear from who actually works at the post office with me is Shannon. She has a great little clip. There's actually other people who wanted to get on the recording, but unfortunately my phone died. So I need a new one, guys. I need a new cell phone. But I'm waiting for the Black Friday deals. I don't want to pay $800 for the iPhone X or 8 or whatever. So I'm going to see what I can do. Wait another couple weeks and hopefully get something cool. But what did Shannon have to say?
My name's Shannon, and what I enjoy most and I find the most relaxing is going fishing for the first time in the summer, dipping my rod in the lake and just taking in the sun, relaxing all day long with a nice cold one.
Ah, yes, the fishing and opening up a cold one. Booze, having a drink. That's definitely a theme here I'm starting to find. So I got all that from the coworkers, and then I went around and delivered some mail in the business section, and a few of the people that I talked to the most often were willing to help out with the show. Some of them weren't because, well, like I said, they're embarrassed and they don't want to be on the podcast, but they're happy to listen to it. But a former coworker who actually just works down the street had something to say.
Hi, my name is Georgina, and the reason why I like the snow falling is I stick my tongue out, catch the snowflakes on my tongue, and it reminds me of when I was a kid.
So yeah, Georgina, I think that's pretty appropriate for today's weather. The big snowfall, I think we got anywhere from 10 to 15 centimeters, they were saying. So I hope you took some time out of your day today and caught some snow on your tongue, because, yeah, very good day for it. So then I went along and delivered some more mail, asked some more people if they would like to be on a podcast. Some people didn't know what a podcast was, of course. Then I went to the eye doctor's office and spoke to Mallory.
Hi, my name is Mallory. My simple pleasure is a cold day, getting home from work, running a hot bath with bubbles, maybe a few chocolates in there as well. Not in the bath, but to eat. Putting my pajamas on, getting into bed with a good book, and just relaxing for the evening with candles. That's my idea of a simple pleasure. It makes me happy because it's time to myself after a busy day. And I have the best postman in the world, and he's making me do this, and I'm scared to death, but I did it, and I'm glad I did it.
So thanks for that, Mallory. Of course, I didn't actually make her do it. She didn't have to. I just asked her, and she said, sure, I'd love to be on the podcast. So that was a lot of fun. Mallory and Amelia and all the people at the eye doctors are really fun to talk to. I think Amelia is actually going to do a recording. She couldn't think of anything, and I had to go and deliver the mail. There was other people who wanted to be on this episode, so they didn't get to be, of course. I'm going to play their clips if I do record them in a later episode, or like a follow-up episode or just the next episode, and whatever that topic will be, this will just be part of that. So that'll be a lot of fun. Simple pleasures. Who else did I talk to this week? Oh yes, I spoke to Ryan and Jamie. These are a couple people who work at one of the lawyer's offices in town. In fact, it was the lawyer's office who helped me do all the paperwork for my house that I bought back in the day a few years ago. So, first person I spoke to, and the only guy I actually managed to talk to this whole time was Ryan. Let's hear what Ryan had to say.
Hello, my name is Ryan Barrett, and my favorite part of the day is coming home to my dog because he's not people, and people are the worst, period.
I can definitely get behind what Ryan had to say, because sometimes people are the worst. That might be funny coming from a mailman who sees people and talks to them all day long, but every once in a while, you just need a break from people. And his coworker Jamie actually had something to say as well. Here's her clip.
Hi, my name is Jamie Smela, and I love bagels from Timmy's because I love carbs, period.
And Jamie likes bagels. And that's pretty much what I eat every morning for breakfast, so I can definitely get behind her statement. So, simple things that just make you happy. You have to take time out to enjoy these things. Ryan gets to all the time. He finishes his day of work, and then he goes to play with his dog. And dogs aren't people, so that makes him happy. That's great. And I also spoke to some other people. After my day at the post office was done today, I stopped in at the comic book shop because I had received a text message saying that one of my comics was in the file, so I had to go pick it up. That is a simple pleasure as well, just having a comic book to read. They come out once a month usually, so it's a lot of fun just to sit there and look at the pictures, read the dialogue or the description or whatever, and it's just relaxing. So who did I talk to? Well, I spoke to Kitty and Julie, the co-owners and sisters of Jump City Comics, and here's what they had to say.
Hi, I'm Julie from Jump City Comics, and we're talking about simple pleasures. I like crispy, crunchy leaves and piling them into a big mountain and jumping in them and rolling around in them and getting all crunchy. Yeah, I like that. And I also like baking. Baking's nice, especially mushy, gooey cookies. What do you like, Katie?
Well, I really like taking a fresh can of whipped cream out of the fridge and then spraying the whipped cream directly into my mouth. I also very much enjoy putting on fresh laundry right after it come out of the dryer.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's a good one.
Thanks, girls. It's always fun to talk to you guys, to you people, to you folks. A lot of things to do with nature in the Simple Pleasures episode. I think that's fantastic. We don't connect with nature often enough. We're always inside buildings or in our cars or in our houses or whatnot. But yeah, raking the leaves, piling them up together, and just jumping in them like when you were 7 or 8 years old, that's a lot of fun. Anything that reminds you of your childhood, a simpler time, it's great. I love it. That brings me back to the whole breaking of the ice glass. But there's a few other things that I was thinking about this week as well. What else makes me happy? Speaking about ice, before the snow really comes down, but the lake has frozen over, one of the best things to do is take some rocks and just throw it on the ice. Just skip it along. Of course, you can't skip it because the water's frozen, but the sound that it makes. Have you ever done this? So I discovered this maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was living at a place with a lake in the backyard and wanted to see if I could break the ice with some rocks, but I couldn't. Instead, I discovered this amazing sound, and I'm just going to play a brief snippet of a YouTube video that I found so you can hear exactly what this sounds like if you've never heard it before. So that's it. It's got a really high-pitched, high frequency. I can't really describe it, but hopefully the microphone picked it up. If not, just go on YouTube and look for frozen lakes and rocks, and there's quite a few different videos on there. Find a frozen lake yourself. Skip some rocks on it. It's amazing. I don't even know why. It's just a really fun sound. And what else makes me happy? Well, speaking of nature, I don't know what you call these things, but I call them Jesus clouds. Seeing those makes me happy. It reminds me of my childhood. It's when you're driving along and the sun rays are peeking through the clouds and it comes down like a halo. And you see those in religious paintings and whatnot, and that's the only thing I could think to call them, Jesus clouds. And I don't know, they just make me stupidly happy just to see them. It's not even a religious thing because I'm not a religious person, but it's nature. It's a connection to the universe, and it's just fun. So I like that. I also like seeing old people holding hands. Cheesy, I know, but whatever. You see these 70, 80-year-old people, and they're just walking along. Maybe they're trying to hold each other up. I don't know. But they look so in love, and they're just holding hands. And it gives me hope that I'll have that in 40 years as well. I have it now with the lady that I'm with, but I hope we still have it. I hope we still hold hands 40 years from now. It just puts a smile on my face. And the final thing that I could think of for this topic was the infused smell of coffee in old buildings. Do you know what I mean? A lot of buildings that I deliver to, the mail, usually lawyers' offices or whatnot, you go in there, you open the door, and you can smell 50 years of brewed coffee infused into the walls. That's what it smells like to me. You just walk in, you open the door, and there it is. It's just the smell of coffee that's been in the air, in the building for years and years and years. Makes me imagine things like they had all kinds of fun meetings back in the day. Maybe they hated it. Maybe they hated their jobs. Who knows? I don't know. I wasn't there for that part. But you can smell it. And it's years and years of brewed coffee. And it reminds me of my childhood. Why? Because I used to go to AA meetings with my grandfather. And that's a whole other topic that I could talk about sometime. But when I was a child, he used to take me to open meetings so I could listen to... it was a bonding thing, I guess, really. And we'd go into church basements and whatnot, and you'd always smell the brewed coffee in those big percolator machines. And I guess that's what smelling coffee in old buildings reminds me of, my grandfather. And those are good memories. So that's what I've got for you folks this week. Just simple things, simple pleasures, things that connect you to nature, or memories of childhood, or make you feel like a kid again, or just put a smile on your heart. That's what I wanted to talk about this week, because I find it important to reconnect to the core of who you are, things that make you you, things that make you happy, things that make you smile. What are the things that make you smile? What are some simple pleasures in your life? Let us know. Let other SoulForge podcast listeners know. Email me, soulforgepodcast@gmail.com. I want to know. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know what makes you happy, what puts a smile on your face. Let me know. Other people would love to hear it as well. You can also tweet me at SoulForgePod on Twitter. That would be awesome. So that's all I've got to say for this week. Expect future podcasts to come up probably on Thursday. Do you have any topics that you'd like me to cover? Let me know. Email me. Send me a message. Join the Facebook group. Do all that good stuff that we talk about in the end credits. And remember, sometimes we fall down because there's something down there we're supposed to find.
This has been another episode of the SoulForge Podcast with Sean Vanderloo. If you'd like to contact the show, email us at soulforgepodcast@gmail.com. We are SoulForgePod on Twitter. You can follow Sean on Twitter and Instagram at Darth Vaderloo. Please rate and review us in Apple Podcasts or the podcatcher of your choice. To support the show for as little as $1 a month, visit patreon.com/Darth Vaderloo. Thanks for visiting the Forge. We will see you for the next episode.